Well, cooking for a large group is not easy, but it can also be a challenge when you're cooking for one.
But one local chef is sharing some helpful tips this morning.
I saute my veggies and then just add them with some eggs and bake them. We're good.
Local chef Char Morse has a partnership with Harbor Hospice, offering cooking classes for one as part of the grief support program.
For their newly widowers to cook smaller meals for themselves. If they cook like they used to when they had a family and a spouse, they end up eating food and leftover for weeks.
But there are many groups of people who could use these skills.
College kids, I was thinking, well, newly divorced, I mean, there's more than one way to lose your spouse. And even two empty nesters, because if you no longer have teenage boys to cook for, like I once had, you do have to cut back on what you're cooking.
Maybe even saving you some cash.
Buying less, buying individual portions versus the mega pack, which makes sense for a large family. But if it's just you, it makes much more sense to purchase the smaller quantities.
Whipping up a frittata,
Which is super simple.
to show us how it's done.
A frittata, if you get one, from a restaurant or if you're making it for your family, you'll put it into an entire skillet. And that is a lot of veggies and eggs to eat for one person. But if we portion it out and place it into like the muffin cups, now I have a breakfast or a snack for someone. This is a one portion thing.
And it's about more than just portion sizes.
The other thing is I tell them, get smaller pans, because we all have this tendency, hey, I've got a big pan, I'm going to fill it.
Another helpful skill, getting creative.
Use the rest in something else rather than making a big batch of something that you might not want 3 days later. And I'm also going to add the asparagus. I add the asparagus last because it doesn't take as long to cook as the other veggies do. How to utilize things that are left over. The vegetables that maybe you purchased for a dinner one night that you still have, how can that be repurposed? And so I'm teaching them a lot of times how to make made over leftovers is the best way to say it. A little tiny breakfast.
And healthy.
That's right.
Very tasty. And another good reason to make smaller portions, to avoid the growing issue of food waste. According to Feeding America, nearly 40% of all food in America is wasted.